untold story of the largest counterfeit vape operation. So basically, he's
Two
talking about
brothers
carts.
from a small town in Wisconsin had dreams of making
That's a cart epidemic. That was back then when all the jits used to be smoking on them fake ass carts, even though they still be smoking on them fake ass carts.
millions. The younger one, a kid named Tyler Huffhines, had been a
Y'all
hustler
need to
his
get
whole
on the
life,
za.
always listening in on his mother's business meetings, flipping sneakers and used cars, and investing in the stock market the day he turned 18. But his whole life changed when his older brother Jacob introduced him to the world of THC carts. Now, Tyler was never the type of guy to get high, but when he realized how lucrative a business counterfeit carts were, he couldn't resist taking advantage. Tyler's
needed that
entrepreneurial
money.
spirit, paired with Jacob's extensive knowledge of the THC cart market, led him and his brother to create the largest illegal counterfeit vape operation in the US, selling an estimated 2.9 million carts and making millions of dollars in just a year and a half. However, thanks to some strict parents and their kid, the Huffines brothers' operation came crashing down just as fast as they grew.
So I'll tell you what's about to happen, right? I haven't watched the video, but I think the kid got caught trying to buy it. You feel me? He was trying to buy a little yurt. Parents took his phone. He was like, "Who you buying this shit from?" And he spilled the tea.
Two brothers face charges in a large-scale counterfeit vaping operation.
Authorities say their mother was in on it.
They seized THC products with a street value of $1.5 million.
God
Tucked
damn!
in the Westosha region of southeastern Wisconsin is the quiet village of Paddock Lake. Surrounded by vast farmlands, quiet country roads, and dotted with clusters of trees, it's a peaceful place that's far removed from the bustle of big cities. The village, home to about 3,200, is built around its namesake lake, a hub for summer boating and winter ice fishing. It's the kind of town where everyone knows everyone, especially when it comes to their local high school. Westosha Central High School acts as the central hub for students across the area. The school, standing on the outskirts of Paddock Lake, is a modern building that almost feels out of place next to the village's small homes and rustic charm. But it's here where the youth of the Westosha region gather to learn, play sports, and in the case of Tyler Huffines, make some questionable decisions. Tyler grew up with his older brother, mother, and grandfather in a quiet neighborhood overlooking Paddock Lake. From an early age, Tyler was drawn to business, often sitting quietly behind furniture, listening to his mom's business meetings, and pleading to open his own bank account. By 7th grade, he was already on his grind flipping sneakers to make a profit. And when he entered Westosha Central as a freshman, his entrepreneurial skills only got sharper. While other students were caught up in sports and mowing down kids on Nuketown, Tyler was learning the ropes of business, taking as many business and leadership classes as possible while always looking for his next money-making gig. As his high school years went on, he made thousands of dollars flipping used cars while also investing heavily in the stock market the day he turned 18. After Tyler graduated high school in 2018, he attended Carthage College and worked alongside his brother at his mother's real estate office. Now, he was still on his grind of becoming a young millionaire, but he was becoming restless. He wasn't content with being stuck working a typical job. He wanted more. He wanted something lucrative, something thrilling, something that would fit the CEO type of lifestyle he always yearned for. But thankfully for him, his older brother Jacob had just the right thing for him. Jacob Huffines lived a vastly different life than his ambitious sibling. Born 3 years apart, Jacob spent a majority of his teenage years getting into some pretty serious shit. By the age of 17, he faced charges for marijuana possession and underage drinking. By 22, he was a convicted felon and earned himself some jail time on charges of dealing cocaine and running a drug house. But despite these obvious signs that he should step away from the world he veered himself into, Jacob always found a way back into the drug trade. He never learned from his mistakes and instead dove headfirst into learning all about the world of dealing. And his eagerness to continue selling drugs aligned perfectly with the rise of THC carts. Mind you, this was early 2018, a time when these products were starting to catch fire and become super popular.
We got the tricks, the Cocoa Puffs, chronic carts. Hey, look, I'm gonna show y'all the Fortnite cart. Hey, if anyone was ever smoking on a Fortnite cart, y'all need help, bro. Y'all dead need help. Look, if you ever got served a cart and it looked like this, and you smoked that shit, gang, cart night. Cookies, sour diesel. Bro, fuck out of here. You're a dickhead if you ever smoke that shit.
Legal gray areas and a growing demand for discreet, high-potency cannabis products.
Discreet,
were
yeah,
creating
very
a
discreet.
gold mine for those willing
Very
to take the
discreet.
risk of dishing them out. And Jacob, who
Very
was
fucking
already
discreet.
deep into this world, saw the potential to make a shitload of money from selling these carts and was willing to take that risk. But not alone.
Yeah, man,
Tyler's
that's not good.
ambition to make massive amounts of dough, paired with Jacob's vast knowledge
save
of
money,
dealing,
gang.
was a match made in heaven.
some
A
dough.
match that Tyler simply couldn't
Dough.
resist. When Jacob laid out his idea to Tyler, he was completely on board. And just like that, the boys started to craft up a plan. Their strategy was simple. They wanted to create an
They was
operation
cooking up. What
that
they was
cut
cooking up? What
costs
they was
and
cooking up?
maximize profits by selling counterfeit vape cartridges.
Uh-huh.
In other words, they wanted
Fucking
to establish
Cocoa
what's
Puffs
known
cart.
as a pen
Like, bruh.
factory, a low-profile operation that essentially served as a middleman between THC liquid suppliers and high schoolers who wanted to get fried. Their plan revolved around sourcing empty vape cartridges
I don't like how he's saying fried and fucking all these fucking thug synonyms and shit. Be
and
normal.
branded packaging from Chinese
Be yourself.
manufacturers.
They were
for
getting
dirt
high,
cheap,
not
and then filling
fried.
them
Just
with
say
THC
hi.
liquid that the boys
Yeah.
obtained from California. Basically, they wanted to pass off their carts as legit for as cheap as possible. Is that scummy? Absolutely.
Yes.
But it was
And did people
profitable,
believe
and
it?
they made it even
Yes,
more
'cause they're
profitable
dickheads.
by opting to cut their THC liquid with cheaper oils that contained vitamin E acetate.
Dickheads.
Sound familiar?
68
This approach
kids.
used less of their expensive core ingredient while still making their product look legit, which in turn increased their margins with minimal overhead. However, even though they had a solid plan set up, the duo still had no clue where they would set up shop. I mean, Tyler probably had enough money saved up to buy a place, but they wanted to keep costs down as low as possible. So where would they go? Well, it turned out the answer was close to home. Courtney Huff-Hines wasn't your typical mom. She was a well-known real
You mean to tell me they had $1 million drug fucking $1 million company, a $1 million drug company running in their own house? You gotta be a fucking dickhead.
estate agent in the Westosha area with a larger-than-life personality that perfectly matched her
Gotta be
career.
fucking
If you lived
stupid,
anywhere
bro.
around Paddock Lake, chances are you saw her bright
Don't
red
shit where you
blazers,
sleep
real
at.
estate ads, or her smiling face on Instagram, promoting her new listings or showing off her family's latest vacation. But beyond the posts and business attire, Courtney was someone who valued ambition and wasn't afraid to take risks. She had spent over 2 decades in the real estate game. She built her career by working
they
with
took her ass to
well-known
jail
real
'cause
estate
that looked like a
companies in
mugshot.
southeastern Wisconsin and eventually
She got
opened her
caught
own
up with the
place called
Suns.
Realty Executives Unity. And
She was-
despite
she was
filing for
trapping in carts
bankruptcy
too.
back in 2012, she was back on her feet by 2018 and opened a brand new real estate office in Union Grove, Wisconsin, about 15 minutes from Paddock Lake. She was all about success, resilience, and self-belief. But it turns out her success wasn't just limited to selling homes. If you know what I
Selling
mean.
carts.
The boys approached their mother with their plan, pitching it as some kind of
Oh nah! Hey, that's a cool ass mom. They went to the mom about shit. They was like, "Hey, yo, OG, I got a good money plan for you. All right, hear me out. Hear me out. We gonna cut these carts. We gonna get it for the low. We gonna sell them double, triple the price. I just need a spot. You secure me with the spot, you get a cut. Boom."
entrepreneurial endeavor that required a
Boom.
home base. And shockingly, instead of slamming the door on their wildly illegal idea, Courtney did the exact opposite. She
Told you.
gave it her
No.
blessing and
Yup.
even allowed them to use her office in Union Grove to get things started.
Okay,
It's almost
okay.
surreal to imagine.
That's
Like,
even
on one
worse.
side is
Her
Courtney's
office.
nice real estate office, and on the other side, her own sons are filling carts with booth. On January 16th, 2018, Tyler, Jacob, and Courtney kicked off their new startup with nothing more than some empty vape carts, a bit of THC distillate, and a lot of ambition. Tyler, the #1 man in the operation, knew that scaling this type of business required, well, learning the business. And this is where a man named Moo came into play. Moo, who was not a cow, but rather the boys' plug from California, wasn't just their supplier of THC distillate. He became Tyler's mentor. Over countless FaceTime calls, Moo walked Tyler through every step of making counterfeit carts, like how to dip the caps in alcohol to avoid leaks and how to properly fill them. Tyler picked up this skill rather quickly and began making his dank vapes and chronic Sour Patch Kids carts all by himself.
These are
in a
all
matter
him?
of days. After he got in the swing of
Dank
things,
vapes?
it wasn't long before he decided he needed to invest in more supplies. Over Labor Day weekend in 2018, he flew to California, carrying $300,000 in cash to purchase more distillate. A fucking insane move for a kid straight out of high school. The trip
Facts.
secured the steady
What the
supply of
fuck?
THC oil the
300
brothers needed to ramp up
bands?
production. which led them to the tall task of building their team. They started out by hiring a few associates to help fill the carts, paying them $20 an hour to do so, well
That's
above
not
the
bad.
Wisconsin minimum wage at the time. And for a while, their system of
Good
filling and
Dubskies.
selling carts out of Courtney's office was running smoothly, until one of their associates got stopped by the cops. Now, although this little situation didn't blow up their operation just yet, it was enough to make Tyler and Jacob hit pause and think about a new location to start filling their carts, something way more conspicuous. They set their sights on a condo in Bristol Bay, a peaceful neighborhood in the village of Bristol. Tyler, already having trust from sketchy randos in the state, turned to California to find a guy and pay them to steal a man's identity, which he then used to rent out the condo. Once again, and pay them already having a condo in Bristol Bay, a peaceful neighborhood in the village of Bristol. Tyler, already having trust from sketchy randos in the state, turned to California to find a guy and pay them to steal a man's identity, which he then used to rent out the condo. Once again, a fucking insane move for a kid who couldn't legally drink. But this wasn't even the craziest part. Courtney was the one who brokered the deal for the condo, and was well
the
aware that her
OG?
own son was not only using a stolen identity to rent it, but also knew that they were about to run a full-fledged drug ring out of it. Courtney, honey, what are we doing? And
What are you doing?
somehow, no
Facts,
one
bro.
suspected a thing from the condo deal.
Hey,
and it soon
I wonder
became
how
the
long they
center
lasted,
of
though. I
their
wonder how they got caught.
ever-expanding empire. Over the next year and a half, their operation absolutely exploded. They went from a few helpers here and there to a full team of 10 workers who were filling between 3,000 and 5,000 cartridges a day, which equates to over 2.9 million carts over that time frame. Also during that time frame, Mr. Krabs, Tyler, tightened up the operation's workflow even more to increase productivity and reduce costs. He did so by switching his workers from being on hourly pay to paying 30 cents per cart they filled, an equation he calculated would create more carts and cost less for him.
He realized it would be more cost effective, according to Tyler, if he started paying him 30 cents a cartridge. He would save, or he would make an additional $2.20 a cartridge.
From when they started in early
adds
2018
up.
to around
That
August
adds up. That adds up
2019,
for
the
sure.
Huff Heinz were killing it. Thousands upon thousands of carts were being manufactured and sold from the condo, some of which were even making it to neighboring states like Illinois and Minnesota. This officially made them a multi-state operation, with absolutely no suspicion from anyone. Now, their
Damn,
neighbors
bro.
would see Jacob, Tyler, and the gang constantly leave and come back from the condo, but they didn't think anything of it. They thought it was all normal. Well, everything seemed normal until a couple of parents about an hour away from the operation caught their kid doing something naughty. A mom and a dad were shocked to see their kid getting stoned off a cart in early July
Dickhead.
2019 in Waukesha,
He fucked the whole
an affluent
operation up.
suburb near Milwaukee. The parents, wanting to hold their high schooler
Fucked the whole
accountable,
thing up.
marched him down to the local police station to turn himself in, which is a little extreme,
Wait,
right?
what?
Down to the local police station to turn himself in,
Over a
which
cart?
is a little extreme, right? But regardless, the parents made their kid talk with the Waukesha Police Department and discuss where he got the cart from, which is when he showed
y'all.
them Tyler's Snapchat. Now,
Told
Tyler
y'all.
would constantly post about the thousands of carts he had in stock, his piles of money, along with his constant trips to California to re-up his supplies, all
Told
of
ya.
which was a gold
Fucked
mine
up.
of information for these cops.
Fucked up.
Tyler set up an account on Snapchat and sold product using the name Wisco Bag Boy.
After seeing this, the Waukesha Police Department launched an investigation, meticulously tracing dealers and anyone else that could be a part of the operation. The evidence stacked up quickly, and within a month, the Waukesha cops teamed up with the Kenosha Drug Operations Group and the
Goddamn.
Racine County Metro Drug
Goddamn.
Unit to finally take down the Huff Heinz operation. On September 5th, 2019, around 6 a.m., authorities
All from that
executed
one little
search
ass,
warrants at
stupid
the
ass
3
jit.
locations connected to the Huff Heinz: their childhood home in Paddock Lake, their condo in Bristol, and Courtney's office in Union Grove. The first raid took place at the family's home. Inside Tyler's room, officers found around $48,000 in cash and a fully loaded shotgun with one in the chamber. Inside Jacob's room, they found a loaded rifle, cocaine, weed, a digital scale, some carts, 9 Xanax pills, and around $11,000 in cash.
Yeah,
and around the
60 bands
house,
in the crib.
detectives discovered 8 other firearms and assorted drug paraphernalia. Up next was the Holy Grail: the condo in Bristol. At the condo,
Damn.
officers found 31,200
Damn.
THC vape cartridges ready for shipment, 98,000 unfilled carts, and 57 mason jars filled.
Yo, 57? Yo, y'all have to understand, bro, how much one of them little jars is, bro. It looks like a little, that shit is.
With THC distillate worth around $342,000. There were also 3 money counting machines, 18 pounds of weed, and stacks of empty packaging for brands like Dank Vapes and Chronic Sour Patch Kids. This is also where Jacob and Tyler were found and arrested.
The Kenosha County Sheriff's Department executed warrants last week on 2 county properties. 2 men have since been arrested, 2 brothers.
Lastly,
Crazy.
authorities searched Courtney's real estate office in Union
Oh, I
Grove.
wonder what they
At
found
the time,
there.
the place had been mostly cleared out, but police still found leftover packaging materials and drug paraphernalia, enough to show that the office was a critical part of the operation at one point. And as a result, Courtney was arrested a few months later.
THC oils and stuff were gone at that time, but
Wonder how
all
many
the
years she got.
packaging, everything that was there in the Bristol condo was also there in the back of her office.
So now, with all 3 Huff Hines in handcuffs, it was obvious they're going to be slammed with the book, right? I mean, an illegal multi-million-dollar operation, identity fraud, a shit ton of firearms, selling millions of carts across state lines, they were fucked. Or were they? Tyler, Jacob, and Courtney were all charged with some pretty serious crimes, as you can see on the screen. I mean, it's literally enough to fill
Manufacturing, distribution, or delivery of THC more than 10,000 grams. Possession with the intent to manufacture, distribute, deliver more than 10,000, blah, 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 1,000 grams.
the entire screen. And after looking at all of those charges, it seems like some pretty serious shit. But whatever god-tier
It
lawyers
just looks
they
like
hired,
they're just selling, like, they just got, like, cart charges for selling shit. Do they even have, bro, do they even have firearm charges? I need to see. Personal use, as appropriation of person. Yeah. Right here, not even the firearm.
it's literally
charge
enough
right
to
there.
fill
Unless
the
he
entire
didn't charge
screen.
for the
And
firearm.
after looking at all of those charges, it seems like some pretty serious shit. But whatever god-tier lawyers they hired got them out of all of it. Jacob was
All of
only
it?
fined $10,000 and placed on 2 years probation.
What? Nah, they got some crazy ass lawyers for that.
Courtney was fined a total of $15,000, and Tyler, who was the one who spearheaded this entire thing, was not fined at all and only placed on 3 years probation.
What the fuck?
I just don't know how to explain that. All 3 of the people connected to the largest black market THC vape ring in the US all avoided prison time and pretty much got
crazy.
away with everything.
Yo, bro, what? I need to hire them lawyers for anything that happened, bro. I need them right there. How much they pay for them? I need them.